what we got to talk about is these scam websites. This is when I talk about why customers need to ask questions about products being tested, on why products need to be compared with everyday house paints, because you don't want to get ripped off in the process. You want to make sure what you're buying is tested at the end of the day. We left the mic open because, again, like I said, customers are not going to come in here and complain about this. This is going to be from people who make these products that get upset, to get irritated, to get upset. And I don't read half the stuff they're saying, but I'm pretty sure they're just ranting about anything. So one of the sites that just launched, and this is one of the reasons why I said why they should put more restrictions in place uh, for for people who make these products, because they just lie. Now, if you're telling me you should make your screen paint by scratch, you see this right here? This is one of the ingredients that goes into making house paint. Do you see the price of this stuff? These chemicals are very expensive. They're not cheap. Cheapest one they got in here is $66. On top of this stuff is extremely hazardous. You have to know what you're doing. You can literally kill yourself with this stuff. So this is the ingredients right here on what's in paint. That's the full ingredients on how to paint. I can look up each one of these and see how much each one of these costs. There is nowhere in the world you're selling a product at $55 and you're telling me at the end of the day you made this stuff from scratch. Man, you don't have anything on here that would even come close to what it would cost to make this stuff from scratch. And again, you would have to have an insane facility. You would have to have all kinds of zoning licenses and everything else you would need. You would have to have chemists in there that'd be licensed and bonded. A whole lot of stuff. You couldn't even dump this stuff in the trash if you wanted to. You have to have a special dumpster that they have to put this stuff in to get this stuff clean and decontaminated. So basically, it doesn't do anything against the environment or anyone else around you. This stuff can potentially cause cancer and all kinds of stuff. You don't know what you're working with in the day. So you see this right here. We has at the top. He has up here where he says he makes this product from scratch. This is a premium. Screen paints are made from scratch and not over the counter. No, 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 no. Oh, these over the counter products are tested. They've been through flash zones. They've been through all that. So you know exactly if it's basically what it's gonna react to, if it's eco-friendly, if it's basically low VOC, you know, if it's water-based, oil-based, you'll know all that from the door because they did all that testing. They have the facility to do this. But when you say you made something from scratch, it means you made it from the ground up and it's not over the counter. Again, if you're sitting there telling me this is not a paint, it's something else, we're going to order this. We can't order right away because he already knows we're on the watch list. We're going to get this product. We don't want to go through the last time. I can show you we have cancellations from this fellow. We ordered 7 of his products, $700 worth of his product, and he canceled every single one of them in fear that we would get the product down here for proper testing. Is there any testing underneath the product? No, there's no testing. Any comparison against other household paints? It doesn't exist. As a matter of fact, on the testing page, he's very emotional. What I mean by very emotional, he came at us. Coming at me is not going to help you. At the end of the day, some people don't even know who I am. A lot of people don't know who I am. So if they go to your page, this is what they're seeing. If I'm an everyday Joe, I don't know who I am. You know who I am at the end of the day, and I come to your test page, I see you doing this. That's basically about it. But there's no real test behind it. So what if I want to see your product against fabric or micromesh or film or anything like that? You don't have that there. What about different levels of projectors? Because even when you show up a black versus black, you got to go from 5,000, 4,000. You got to drop the different forms of projectors, 1,000 lumens and so forth. So that way they don't know that they're using a high-end projector to pull white light. All that has to be done. Fully lit environments, all that stuff has to be done. That's not enough. This is not enough right here. That's not enough. You're talking about the difference between this and this. Well, in this demonstration, my screen is sitting up near the ceiling with light hitting it, and yours is actually sitting on the floor. Again, moving on. Meter demonstrations showing my meter readings at the end of the day is not a test. People don't care about this. They want to see testing. So if I go in and say, hey, look, our screens work with ultra short throws. They said, well, can you show me some ultra short throws? We can show you ultra short throws in multiple houses, in multiple environments, even outside. You don't have it there. What about motorized projection screens? I have multiple demonstrations of me painting all different forms of fixed frame screens and motorized projection screens. Do you have that? No. If you're talking about venue projectors, the first one to say is, well, I got to do an outdoor event. Can you show me a demonstration on the screen size over 180 inches? You don't have that either. You can't apply to nothing anyone says at all. This is a lot of emotion. When I say a lot of emotion, these are people who let their emotions get the most of them, and they're coming at me doing demonstrations toward me. That's not going to help you. You have to show your product is tested, because they don't care at the end of the day when it comes to that. They want to see tests. That's what they want to see. All right, let's go over here where we can see, oh man, we're gonna break down the price for this product. It's gonna be bad. All right, so he got it at $55. The first day he launched the product, he put it on sale. That's not good. That shows desperation for people to buy from you, which means you don't have no confidence in your product, and your product probably doesn't even do well. He's got it on sale the day he launched it. So right here, his product PSP. When you say PSP, people are really going to think you're giving away a game system. Like, seriously. He must have got asked this question a couple of times, because he posted at the bottom, not a PSP. And it comes off like a PSP. Price he has for the product, he dropped it right from the door, $5 off, $55. You made this from scratch, right? All right, let's test that theory out. This right here, this is one of them. Let's go here. This is how house paint is made. See all these ingredients they have in here for house paint? Some of you can read some of this. I can't read half of the stuff in there, but some crazy stuff is in here. See all this? Do you have any idea what kind of license you would have to have? You couldn't even order this stuff online. You see all that crazy stuff they have in there? Now, this is the one I pulled up, just this one alone, right? This is this one just alone. Do you see the price that they want for that? Just alone, just that one. Cheapest one we have over here is $66. Your paint doesn't go for $66, does it? Your paint goes for $55. So I guess this is probably not in your ingredients, but it's actually one of the ingredients it's need for basically for making house paint. If you said yours is made from scratch. There you go. You understand any of this, Danny? Explain it to us. Get on camera right now and explain to me all this. I want to know all this. Explain it to me. You don't know any of this at all. So you can't put on your site your stuff is made from scratch. How many people would challenge you on that? Someone will read that and go, wait. It's made from scratch. Like, what kind of facility do you have that you're making this from scratch? Like, are you licensed to do this? They're going to ask all those questions are going to pop up. As a matter of fact, you may pull up some other people that may pull up and see this at the end of the day and report your site. You're claiming you're making this hazardous chemical by scratch. Where are you making this at by scratch? Do you have a license to do this at the end of the day? Do you even have a degree? Are you certified? Do you have a facility? Is it zoned? Where is it at? You're going to raise some red flags you don't want. Kind of people that are going to dig into this are the kind of people you don't want to catch interest to. Can't go until you made your stuff from scratch. Look at this. Can you, this is one of the ingredients is right. Please explain this to me. So what you mean you made it by scratch? So you're saying it's not a paint? At the end of the day, I think it is a paint. We get it down here. If this stuff turns out to be ink and water, oh man, that's going to be jacked up at the end of the day. I hope it's not ink and water. We haven't seen any paint on demonstrations. Anybody seen any paint on demonstrations? Because paint actually rolls out a certain way. Oh my goodness, man. Let's look at one of the other ingredients that we have on here. Let's grab another one. Let's see what we have on here. Gee whiz. Well, we'll know if it's true. If he gets on camera and there's an arm protruding out of his forehead, or he has a second eye or third eye on the side of his face, and we'll know at the end of the day if he's coughing up blood. We know if he's been working with something he wouldn't been working with. Do you have any idea the suit you would have to wear for this? The guy was doing on the YouTube. That's extremely dangerous. Eventually, he's going to have cancer. Something bad's going to pop up because this stuff is not anything you want to play around. And on top of that, it's extremely flammable. All this stuff would burn your place down in a hot second. Very, very dangerous to be around. But you would have to have a full hazmatic suit. I'm not talking about a painter's mask. You ever watch E.T. and those guys were walking around in that whole entire house? They concealed, and the guy came in with the whole alien out. You would be wearing one of those. You would have to have, oh my goodness, the stuff you have to have in there. Because then you have to worry about transferring anything from one section to the next. That'd be a problem right there. You have to have a, what they call it, contamination unit. You would have to have one of those. Because you literally can have any of this activity on your suit or anything else, and you could transfer it someplace else. Oh yeah, really? You made it from scratch. You made it from scratch. It's not a paint, or what it, I don't know what it is, but you made it from scratch. anything involving any kind of chemical at the end of the day, even if it's not even this, it's still a hazardous chemical that's in it. Even if it's primer, even if it's poly, even if it's any of that, all that has hazardous materials in it. Those companies have the right and the zoning to be able to do this at the end of the day. You do not. So the fact that you said you made it from scratch, pish posh. Let's go dig another one up and see. Look at this one right here. My goodness, this is 5 gallons. If you got caught with this in your property, you get locked up in a hot second. Now, even though you live out there on all that land, you'd still would get locked up at the end of the day because they consider it to be environmentally unsafe. You would be hit with so many environmental laws at the end of the day, it would make your head spin. Let's go find us another one on here. Okay, we have this one right here. Let's see how cheap this one is to purchase. You got any of this laying around? Because you're going to have a machine to crush this into fine dust. You probably didn't understand the proper abbreviation for it. There you go. Your stuff is made by scratch, right? That's what you said, right? I don't think you have that at all. So that's not in it, right? Let me see. What else we got here? We check that one right there, but we definitely know it's not in that one right there. All right, let's just grab one more. Just entertain this. Let's grab this one right here. No, we don't need that one. Let me see. Oh, no, that's from the other side. We need the actual. There we go. Here's a really interesting one. Gee, this is a nightmare. You can't lie, man, and go up there and say you're making paint from scratch. You're not making it from scratch. You're trying to say it's something different than over the counter? No. That's the same thing you said about that other nonsense. You said that product at the end of the day it's not a paint, it's a skin. It's not a skin, it's paint with a whole bunch of water in it to make it look like a skin. That's why it took you multiple applications to paint over one surface, because that stuff was so weak, it was like painting with gray Kool-Aid. That's why he required you to do multiple coats. You see what this stuff causes? Yeah, you're making your stuff from scratch. Yeah, you are. Okay, Dr. Doolittle. You're not making nothing from scratch. None of this is from scratch. What are you making from? What is it? Is it ink? And okay, I'm gonna go on a limb here. Maybe it's water, because the last one was water. Gray food coloring and some glitter. Maybe that's it. I'll know when I get it down here. I got a friend of mine, he does have a lab. I can actually send your product down there. He can basically break it down and tell me exactly if it's paint in there. You can tell if your product is paint or not. Your product is paint. What else would you be using on the face of the planet that's not bought over the counter? He literally said not over the counter. So anything you're thinking of, poly, anything you could think of right now is in a Home Depot or Lowe's, he's saying it's not that at all. This is something completely different made over the counter. Yeah, figure that one out. So you would have to have some, and let's just make it, I don't even know how to, I'm going to wrap my brain around that, because I think that'll make my head hurt at the end of the day. There's virtually no way in the world you could ever make that stuff without some form of toxic chemical involved in it. There's no way in the world. And at that, you're selling, and if you figured out how to make a screen paint, literally, that doesn't require any of acrylics or none of this stuff to begin with, that means that your product should be going a lot more than $55. A whole lot more. Because that would make it different from anything you would have that's being sold right now. And you can prove that at the end of the day. That's like if somebody comes up with a gray screen and they show a gray screen that produces a 100% black level in a fully lit environment, even though it's gray. Do you have any idea what that technology would be worth? Because now you have a screen that can maintain a white level, or maybe a white screen. Matter of fact, even better, a white screen that can do that. So it can maintain the same white level as a white screen, but it can also transform to 100% black. That technology is worth millions and millions of dollars. Because one of the biggest things you have in the industry with developing darker technology is dealing with the fight with the white levels. If you make the white levels too high, then contrast suffers. You make the contrast too high, then white levels. There has to be some kind of balance in there to get it to work. And then that's when color sets in, because color needs both black and white in order to generate. So again, if you figured out how to basically do this without involving any of those chemicals needed, then you have something worth more than $55. Just like when you sat there and lied on camera and said your product didn't come in 4 containers. Well, how else would it come in? There's no other way around that. If you're showing 4 different colors, how would you be shipping that? That's like going to Home Depot, like, let me get red, blue, orange, and green. They're not going to put that in one container. It'd be contamination. It wouldn't come out the same color when they open the top. It'd be something like you would look at sherbet when it melts all together. So you would have to have it in 4 different containers, just basic common sense. If you have literally figured out a way how to ship 4 different colors into one container without cross-contamination, and they can get access to all of them, you're a millionaire. But you don't. You didn't figure that out. You just have 4 colors. So no, this is not one of the things in here at all, period. You literally would have to wear some kind of crazy hazmat suit. This would be your facility. This would be Danny on camera, literally. You would have one of those hazmat suits on. Can't walk around. Look at this. This would be you at the end of the day in your living room doing demonstrations. This would be you. You see that suit he has on? That's what you'd be wearing just to work with that one chemical by itself. You're making it from scratch. Yeah, right. You see what he's got on his face right there? That's what you would have to have just to work with that chemical alone. And all the other ones they have. Oh, you definitely should be having one of these. If you're making it by scratch, you need that. Oh, shit, I forgot about that. If you're making any form of chemical, where's your freaking safety material data codes? You definitely have to have that on there. Now, if you're making a product from over the counter, you don't have to have. You have to put it into the ingredients. For those who don't know this, because we know people don't know this. For the ingredients of each product that you add in there, because you're not making it from scratch, you're actually using somebody else's product. So you have to have the safety material data codes on each individual product that you are using to make that product, because you are not making it from scratch. If you're making it from scratch, that means each one of those chemicals, and when you put it together, has to go through that particular procedure. Now, say he makes a paint from scratch, right? Or he makes a blue paint from scratch, right? That paint would have to have a safety material data code showing exactly what went into it and all the little hazard points. It basically explodes, and if it basically irritation to the skin, if it can cause kidney damage or all kinds of stuff, he has to have that in there. These are his tests he would have in there. So say somebody comes on later on and they take his paint and they mix it with something else, right? That already has the tests already done. When they do when they show off their safety material data codes, they have to show off they use this right here, which is already tested and done, and this right here. That's it. You don't have to go in. The only way you would have to go in and get a separate safety material data codes is you built it from the ground up from scratch. That's the only way. It's just already been done. There's already that form, that sheet already there. You just have to add in, okay, I use this chemical, this one, and this is the safety material data sheets for each one that combine this formula. That's all you have to be done because the work has already been done. I went through that when I tried to go in and get paperwork for safety material data sheets for the Black Series edition. And then one was like, there's no point. Are you making this from the ground up? I said, no, I'm just using other ingredients. She said, but then you have to get the safety material data sheets from each ingredient that you use, combine it to one folder, and that's what you would be using, because that's the safety material data sheet for each item that went into that. There you go. But if you're making it from the ground up from scratch, oh, you definitely got to have one of these, because they have to know everything that's in there and what's the reaction and what's going to cause, what's going to affect. They spill this stuff, what's going to happen, how do they clean it up? You literally have to have this on your paint if you made this from scratch. So if I go to your site and I look for those safety material data sheets, I don't see it. Same thing if you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, any paint that you pick up, all that paint was made by scratch. So it has to have that safety material data sheet. This is actually the chemical compound that's in there. That's what that is. But you have to have that safety material data sheet on the process that they went through when they were making that product. When it went through a flash drone, they set it on fire. They basically do all kinds of crazy stuff to it. What's the reaction to it, this, that, and the other. All the testing they've done. So you would know this. So anyway, if you made it from scratch, you would have to have a safety material data sheet before you can sell it. I can report your site right now. I can go in and report your site for basically you claiming, you made a claim on your site that you made it from scratch. So show me the safety material data sheets. Show me that stuff is safe, that whatever you have in there, we don't know if you made it from scratch. Who knows what's in there? You could cause somebody cancer, all kinds of stuff. You said from scratch. All right? And you are talking about a chemical that's used to be painted onto a screen. Unless we're using watercolors. Is it made out of water? Does it come with a giant crown that you take out of a box and just on your wall? Is it a giant Sharpie? What is it? If it's a chemical, or which as you say it is, it's a formula. You did state it was a formula, which makes it a chemical. So as it being a formula, what is in it? At the end of the day, do you have any form of safety material data sheets proving that that product is safe for consumers? If that's not true, you need to remove that off your site. Can't say from scratch. Sorry, buddy. Because I would love to see one of your videos, you walking around one of them ET hazmatic suits from room to room to room, like, this is what we have here. Because you got to breathe in those things. They're pretty heavy. We have right here gloves. Yeah, because you show up one day and you got this freaking arm or horn or whatever stuff protruding out of your skull, then we know at the end of the day you've been working with some strange toxic chemicals. Other than that, your stuff is house paint. Yeah, this will definitely be your facility. Can you imagine this being in his living room right now? I'm coming out there looking like something off the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, dude, you basically, I'm sorry, your stuff is not made by scratch. Everything over the counter at Home Depot, Lowe's, or any place at the end of the day, basically has been tested. They won't touch it unless it's been tested. No paint can go through Home Depot or Lowe's unless it shows some safety material data sheet showing the product was tested. That's how it works. So in order for you to be able to make a product from scratch, you're going to have all those different hazmatic codes on the side of your containers. Because you said from scratch. Now, unless you can come and you can basically tell us at the end of the day, what do you mean by scratch? I think you pretty much explained it right there. Can't go any farther than that. So, literally, right here says, our premium screen paints are made from scratch, not from over the counter. So, again, everything from over the counter is safety, is safe for the consumer. You know how much money Home Depot can get sued for? If they let a product on there that hasn't been properly tested and someone gets really sick or someone dies from it, they can be sued because they're liable for it. That's why all that stuff has to show it's tested. So he said made by scratch. I'm curious. And curious by the ingredients that we're pulling up alone by itself, there is no way in the world that your product at $55, you're using any of these chemicals. Cheapest one we got is $66. These are all from labs. Can't go in and just buy this and slap a credit card in. They're going to ask for some credentials. That's what they're going to ask for. You got to type in certain license codes and all that stuff in. You got to type all that information in. A little application will pop up. There you go. Because to make sure no one else is using this for something else besides what it's going to be used for. They may do something crazy. You never know. So to make sure all that's in there. Now, we have people that come in and laugh. That would be Jamie. They come in and laugh. They try to basically make it sound like all this is fake. It's you know, what I'm saying is not real or whatever nonsense. But again, we leave the open mic so we can show you the people at the end of the day that don't have common sense, and this is how they react. So we know that. It has nothing to do with being triggered at all, period. If you're going to make a statement that your product is made from scratch, just like if your mom is making cookies, are they store-bought or are they made from scratch? Simple and plain, that's what it means. The problem is you guys don't know what that means. When I say that, you guys get triggered, you get upset. If you're saying I'm triggered, look, the man on his website, clearly both of you guys are posting stuff about me. On your website, that's triggered. Come into the room with a bunch of emojis and capitals and all that stuff, that's triggered. Every time I show demonstrations of your product matching house paint, you trigger. Because again, this is what you did. You're mad over a video that you clearly made. So it is what it is. But let's get back to this mess right here. Now, $55. He just launched the product. He dropped it to $55. Even at $60, if you made this from scratch, it would cost way more than that. There's no way in the world. See, if you were to make this out of basic house paint. Basic house paint? Gee whiz. I mean, you're spending $23 for some Behr right there. That's half of your profits right there. You're spending, because you got to make this at a gallon. He can't make it at a quart. If he makes it at a quart, he's going to lose money. So he has to make it at a gallon. So you're talking about 23 for the bear, $17 for the black. The black is going to get more out of it. That's already 40 bucks right there. And then you're going to put some silver in this, because if you're not, you'll be accused of making black and white paint. Silver's like $7. Get some glitter for $3. That's already $50 right there from the door. So that's not even including you buying your containers. And on top of that, mine, you got to buy paper and ink and all that stuff that goes along with it, because that eats up profits on top of that. And then your shipping costs, because you do ship out for free, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You look at that. Your surcharge, oh, gee whiz, I forgot about if you're shipping this stuff overseas. That's going to be another nightmare. Now, even if you charge a $70 surcharge fee, not everything overseas is going to be 70 bucks. Say if somebody comes in and they order a little bit more, and you got to ship it into they order from you like a gallon, right? So they order a gallon from you, and a gallon has to pretty much, if you can fit it into, well, no, he's doing 32s, so he'll need to put it in a medium-sized box. So a medium-sized box is going to cost you anywhere from $70 to $80. You literally have to put money back. You have to take money out of your own pocket. How are you making this at 50? How are you making anything at $55? Unless you're making 1 gallon of it and then you're just split it in between every 32, that's the only way you'll be to make a profit off of that. But you're still going to have to ship it out. That's 17 bucks. If you're doing it by if you're going to do it by a box. I'm sorry, 14 bucks if you do it by a box, $8 if you do it by a mailer. So you're not making anything at all, period. It's right there, man. He's selling it for $55. What is he going to use? Look, this is a quart, and paint has gone up by a lot. It's probably a lot more than that. This is Glidden at 1 quart. It's $18.49. What's a gallon of this stuff if I wanted a gallon of this? Because for him to buy 1 quart of this is pointless. He has to stretch his money as much as he possibly can. So the best for him to do is make it by the gallon. That's what he's going to have to do. And that's going to cost him more money. I want to keep this right here because I want to come back to this. These are gallons, right? So if he's doing a gallon, you're talking about $55. Oh, sorry, I forgot gallons went up. They're not even 23 anymore. 23 is when I was doing it. They're now at 52, 55. You can spend 60 bucks for a gallon easily. And this is for a gallon, not a quart. So what you pay for a gallon a day is exactly what his paint costs now. So where's he making any money? You got to make it at a gallon. If he's charging if he's doing it by a gallon at $55 and the quart is around $18, he's around somewhere around $70 in there, 55, around $70. And then with the glitter and everything else, you got to add into that because now he's just selling black and white paint, which is actually not wrong. So you got to put something in there. You got to put some silver, some mica, something got to go in there. Can't just sell it as it is, black and white. That ain't right. So with that being said, that's going to basically reach up almost $80. Easy $80. So how in the world is he basically making a profit? He'll make a profit off of, let me see, if he sells it makes a gallon at 80, it's literally going to cost him over the price. He's going to have to add money in. At $55, when you place an order, you're supposed to take the money that you place on the order, unless you have it in stock, you have it stacked around your house, which you're not supposed to do, Jamie. Anyway, because stuff in this place he's not supposed to. Oh, by the way, they will be contacting on that one to let you know. I forgot about that. It was already put in, so they'll be reaching out to you soon. Yeah, that's a long story. I'll talk to you about that later. You have freaking toxic chemicals up in this crib. Anyway, but as I said before, like I said, $55. You want to spend $55. It's not $40 for a gallon now. Gallons are expensive now. Everything went up. So whatever he adds into it, he's probably going to reach the $70 to $80 mark. All right. That is going to be enough for him to basically, out of a gallon, he's going to have to add money to that because he's going to be way over the price. If he sells 1 quart and he makes it by 1 quart, he's still going to be over. It's $18 for a quart of paint. And if he's just selling it basically just gray and that's it, that you're scamming people. If you're using black and white to make it, then that's $18 per quart. So you're not making anything off the 55, and you still got to ship it out at that. There's another $8 attached to that. You're still going to have to add some kind of silver, some kind of mica to it. So again, you literally have to put money into an order if you do it by the quart. If you do it by the gallon, which you would come off a little better with that, because again, out of the gallon, you would at least have about 332s left over, and you can make some profit off of that. But still, you would have to spend over that, way over the 55 to make the gallon. You'd be somewhere in the $80 mark. You literally are working for nothing. Your website alone is like what, $30 a month? So you're really working for nothing. If you have to take anything out of your own pocket, and okay, let's put it this way, Jamie, because y'all don't understand this. A company has to feed itself. I'll explain it to you since you don't understand how it works. If you add anything to the company out of your own money, that means your company is not ready to basically survive on its own. A company is like a small child. So when you have a small child, the first thing you have to do is protect it, nurture it, and basically feed it so it can grow. The reason why I started my company over on eBay as selling vintage toys is because at the time when I started my company, it didn't have the power or what it needed to basically survive. So basically, I started a second business to feed the first business. And I sold toys on eBay to buy projectors and buy more paints and do more demonstrations and stuff I needed to build the other company. And when the other company started to stand on its own and started making its own money, I left eBay. So now the company I have generates enough revenue to survive on its own. It's bigger, it's stronger, and much more powerful. And it has the ability to back itself and fight for itself. Your products on the other day are infants. They can't fight for themselves. And you still have to get in there and try to protect them because they, again, can't fight for themselves. So that's how it works. Since his business is just starting off, bottom line is his price is way too low. It's way too low. And he can't get the money for what the product is worth because even he knows it's not worth it. It's $55 for a screen he's claiming to be this amazing, insane screen. His profits alone would eat that up. There's no way in the world. This is $18 a quart. What else would he be putting into it? And any of the chemicals we saw, if he made it by scratch, is virtually impossible. They're like $300-$400. The cheapest one was $66. There's no way in the world he's doing that. He doesn't even have the facility, or he can't even operate anything like that. So he says, oh, I have all this land. No, you can't. I don't care how much land you got. You have to have zoning licenses for that stuff. You can't just open up a plant out of nowhere and start working with toxic chemicals. No, you can't do that. Environmentals will be all over your butt at the end of the day. You'll be slapped with all kinds of fines and jail time on top of that. Number one, you don't even have the training to work with those kind of chemicals. There is no way in the world. Man, get out of here with that nonsense. I'm making from scratch. You guys know what scratch means? I have to use theories for these guys at the end of the day to explain to them what does scratch mean. There's a difference between store-bought and a difference between scratch. When someone says, I made these cookies, and say maybe they bought them from the store and they set them on the table, they put a little doily on them, and they go, wow, these things are actually fantastic. Or I made these from scratch. It means I broke out the eggs, the shortening, the sugar, and all that stuff, the flour, and I made them from scratch. That's what that means. Apparently, you guys are probably used to having stuff made out of, I'm not going to say that'd be wrong. That'd be just insulting the parents. I don't do that stuff. But anyway, that's what by scratches mean. Every time you're making a paint from scratch and I come in there and I see that, I'm thinking you made it from scratch. You basically made it from the ground up. And you couldn't have because you don't have the facility to do it. You want your business to sound like, I see how he's going. He wants his business to sound like it's a big, powerful company. It's a corporation. We make all our products from scratch. No, you don't. At all, period. Your product is made by over-the-counter products. That's what it's made out of. And it literally costs more money to make your product than it is to sell it. I guarantee you that much. Paint has gone up. I'm talking about $23 a gallon. Shoot, I'm talking about way back when I was selling paint, when I had my digital and crystal screen paint. That's when it was 23. It's way more than that now. Price of all kinds of building materials are going up. Wood is not the same price as it was when I was coming up. Wood is 10 times more expensive. So everything went up. So there's no way in the world you're basically making this stuff from scratch. That's virtually impossible. But when we get it here, we'll find out. I'll take a little container of it. I'll send it up to a friend of mine upstate. He got a lab up there. He's certified. He'll take that stuff. He'll test it. He'll see if that stuff. I don't want to know what's in it. I don't care. It's none of my business at the end of the day. I want to know if that stuff is paint. That's what I want to know. That's the only thing I care about. I'm gonna send it right over to a lab, and they'll tell me if that stuff is made. Now, if there's anything else that pops in there and it shows you're making it with something else completely dangerous, which we don't think you are at the end of the day, because again, it costs too much money to make it. If you're doing it from scratch, when the chemicals are too expensive. On top of that, you'd be dead by now, or really sick, one or the other. Chemical hazmatic suits. This is what you would be walking around in, one of these units right here. See that thing right there? That's what you'll be walking around in. So if you have to be in a suit such like that, or any one of these, you can't walk into your house while wearing that suit. You have to go through what they call it, contamination unit. I think it's a contamination unit to clean any bacteria or anything that might have ended on the suit, to sterilize you before you can actually walk from one chamber. You probably have to go through 2 different chambers to do it, to make sure they can clear everything that's off of you. So there is no way in the world that you're basically working with that kind of chemical. You're wearing this kind of suit at the end of the day. You got to walk through a contamination unit to do that. If not, you would spread whatever's on the suit would transfer right into your house. Anything you walked around with, you would kill it. So no, you're not making it from scratch. We saw the demonstration of making a paint from scratch. Those chemicals are extremely hazardous. I don't know what you're talking about. And on top of that, you would have to have those safety material data codes, which you don't have on any of your products at all. Can you post them on the site? Or they post anywhere on the site of these codes? You got applications here, so they should be here in applications. There's no video, there's nothing in here. All right, my man, I ain't gonna go on and on. There's ain't that much to say about this. Pretty much like beating a dead horse to death, to tell you the truth. You don't make your paint from scratch. That's a lie. That's definitely a lie. You don't make it from scratch. Because just about everything you could think of when it comes to paint under the sun is sold at Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore, Home Depot. Everything that's sitting in those huge, massive warehouses all have these codes on them. And they're all made by scratch. Every single one of them are made by scratch. They have chemists, and they have the whole entire facility. They're zoned for it, and that's why you see all the different information. But if you're telling me you're making a product from scratch and it's not over the counter, then what the freak is in it? That's a huge concern right there. Because maybe if you're making something that hasn't been tested or hasn't had the proper coating or even to be sold, how do we know this stuff might not cause somebody to have cancer down the road or anything? Can't make statements like that. I can post that right there on my Facebook page right now. Post it on my page and say, hey, we got a guy in here, calls himself Danny, and he said he makes his screen paints from scratch. First thing people are going to say, what do you mean by scratch? Like, what the frig is he putting in it? Like, is it safe? Has it been tested? Yeah, they're going to ask a lot of questions. Any company that comes in and touches that stuff, they're going to say, well, what's in it? Can you show me some safety codes on this? So I can know exactly what we're dealing with. This stuff spills or something happens. Man, this is what we call doing too much. You're doing too much. Made in America. So you're saying all the chemicals you have are made in America, every single one of them. You can't even put that in there either, too. Because everything we have, literally, I hate to say it, and it's sad, but just about everything we have in here, even my asthma inhaler, all that, everything in here is in some form of country, someplace else. So this is made 100%. That's all ingredients, everything has been manufactured and made here in the United States. That's the only way you can make that statement. If there are other parts and stuff made in other countries, And you're saying this is made in America? No, those parts are made in other countries. It was assembled here in America. Just like Dell. Dell makes all their parts. They outsource all their parts overseas because it's cheaper to make. And then they're made over there. They are assembled over here. You don't know much about business, do you? Gee whiz, you guys going to know nothing at the end of the day. Okay, that's basically all I got to say. Stay away from the website. Basically, make sure if you're going to buy from there, make sure that he can basically show you proof of tests on the products, not emotional tests. We're going to call those emotional tests, not emotional tests, actual tests. That's what they want to see. Make sure you can see a difference between that product and household paints. And one of the questions or more we need to ask is, what the freak do you mean by made by scratch? You want to see some kind of safety material data sheets on it. For those who sit there and say, well, what about you? Again, I already told you and explained to the whole theory about that. That's why Jamie doesn't have it on his. But Jamie can show me a product that he literally made from scratch. That's when that code is going to be needed. If someone's asked for me, I can show the 5 different ingredients that are used in that particular product. But I'm not going to show you all that. Let me give away a secret. That's what they call an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. If you know anything about business, naysayers, you would know that. See, and non-disclosure agreement, even if your product is not even patent or whatever you may have on it, doesn't make a difference. Within that contract, if either party speaks or tells of anything in that product, they can be sued for millions of dollars. These are the only people that would require this particular form of information because they're going to be marketed and selling to different stores. But you guys don't know anything at all, period. Oh, crease, no, it's called NDA, not crease indices. Gee whiz. You got that mixed up? How do you not get that mixed up at the end of the day? Look, for you naysayers that are coming here at the end of the day and you're talking about how smart you are, I'm going to ask you a simple question. What screen paint do you have of crows on your wall right now? I asked you a simple question. What screen paint do you have? Now, the reason why we ask that question is because we get a lot of crows, sheep that will come in the room and they talk a lot of trash. So as they're in the room, we ask some simple questions because we like to see how they get all passionate and they get all excited and how they get all this energy they push off and they start talking about all this nonsense, right? And then we ask them a simple question. Well, if you support these people who scam people at the end of the day, what is the name of your screen paint? And they'll give us stupid names. Like one guy claimed to have an OLED. One guy said he had the Cinemax or whatever. Not Cinemax, I'm sorry. That would have been one of the screen paints. The oh my God, Elite Screens cinema screen. He said he had that. Of course, the account was fake as usual, but they will not come in and tell the name of their product because again, they are embarrassed, and this is why they're embarrassed because again, this fellow right here, the one they backed, scammed them out of a lot of money. And therefore, they won't tell you what product they have. Look, before I start, I'm going to ask you a simple question. I already explained why I'm asking the question. What screen paint do you have? Name it. What's the problem? Name it. Told you. They can't name the product because they're embarrassed. Because the people who came into the room, the reason why we nicknamed them sheep is because they support this man no matter what. This man has ripped them off, sold them a house paint at the end of the day, and they have the exact same screen paint sitting on their walls right now. That's the reason why they can't tell you what screen paints they have because they're embarrassed. Look, coming up and saying Paco 2.0 and stuff like that doesn't help you. That's not the paint you bought. I asked you a simple question. If you have to come up here and you have to make all these weird comical gestures, then that means at the end of the day that you are embarrassed. That's what that comes down to. I know in the back of your mind, as you write this down, that you think that you're saying something entertaining and with knowledge, but you have to understand you are outing yourself as a person who's ashamed to basically tell us what product you have because you know you got ripped off. But yet you follow this man and support this man even though he ripped you off. And that's why we call you sheep. Now, it doesn't bother me what you're saying. You hurt yourself when you say it. How would that bother me? At the end of the day, I asked you a simple question. You couldn't answer it. Well, what screen you got? Can you name it? No, you can't. And that's why people consider the sheep to be idiots at the end of the day. Because this man ripped you off. sold you a product that was clearly house paint, and you still come in and support it. That's like me taking 20 bucks out of your pocket, taking you out back and kicking you in your private areas, and you come back and give me 40. They'll still go in the backyard and kick you in the private areas. That's what we consider y'all to be sheep. Now, as I said before, getting back to this dumb nonsense, because we had to out them real quick. I love it when we bring them in here. They got scammed so many times. Look at that. Made the product out of house paint. We just made it right there on camera. Oh, I see you're not mentioning Knorr anymore. What happened to the Knorr paint? Oh, I forgot. All right, the funny thing I did real quick. The Knorr paint is hilarious. So they claim to have the product. We advanced the Knorr. We put mica in it. We made it much more better. Still failed. Didn't match. And we made 3 other screen paints out of it. On top of that, the other product he called himself making failed 2 attempts. And we made it actual black, and it failed again. And keep in mind, for those who bought that paint, we have the entire product line posted online. The very paint that you paid all that money for is posted everywhere online. He can make it and show at the end of the day it doesn't match, but he can't do that because it does match. So I made the paint that you bought, that you brag about, I made it and actually posted the entire ingredients. You feel free to make it yourself and post a video. I will be looking for videos, but I don't think you're going to post them because you can't even mention your product here in the video right here. All right, moving on. Anyway, no, this product is not made from scratch. It's not made from scratch. $55, yeah. Again, he kind of dropped the price on the product as he was launching. That shows desperation. And even for the price you're selling it for, there is no way in the world that you're basically making this from scratch. The ingredients cost way too much money. It costs so much money just to add the facility, and the equipment alone costs millions of dollars. So there's no way in the world you're doing that from scratch. This is over-the-counter paint. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all it is. Over-the-counter paint. None of these work on ultra short throws, so... And on top of that, an $18.49 can of paint, I could paint that in faster than paint this screen, and it still would match. All right, well, that's basically about it. See you later, naysayers. Enjoy your free paint at the end of the day, because we did post your product live everywhere. As a matter of fact, let me see where we posted the ingredients. By scratch. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm telling you, one thing about you naysayers, we could sell y'all anything. I could literally come on camera and read a description of aspirin, literally the ingredients for aspirin, and say this is how our product is made, and make it clearly out of water, food coloring, and some freaking Christmas glitter, and you guys would buy it because you're too easy. Easily. Anyone can sell anything to you guys. Anything. You're so easy to be manipulated. So let me see. My goodness. The fact that you had to comment and you said Taco 2.0, you think that was going to upset me? I'm an adult at the end of the day. No, the fact that you wrote that in doesn't make you an adult, but the fact that you couldn't even name your own product that you purchased. You know how sad that is? Gee whiz. You got ripped off. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. It is what it is. You got to come in that way. You sound triggered. Calm down. Relax, okay? I'm not too upset. Let's see where we got you listed at. Oh shoot! Okay, that just blew up. See, we're enjoying the free mixes. There we go. Enjoy. We even got you on ABS forms. So if it's not your product at the end of the day, all you have to do is just go in and just make it live on camera. That's all you have to do. It's a lot of them you don't have to do. It's quite a lot of them. But I'm figuring you can get it, right? Let's see. Entire product line. Even the videos right here of you matching house paint. Yeah, good chance of explaining that out in the day. That's all your paints right there. Every single one of them. Made every last one of them are posted. Now, like I said, if you want, all you have to do is just go in and prove me wrong by just making every last one of those ingredients live on camera and back your product up. But you can't do that because, again, those products are going to match every single one of them. And three of them are actually, one of them is actually the Behr Silver Screen and the Network Grade 773. There's two versions of it. There's one we call the upgrade version that we designed, and then there's another one that actually is the regular paint slid right off the shelf. All right, well, he got his work cut out for you at the end of the day. Look, gentlemen, when you came in the room, we opened the mic on purpose. We know when you come in here, we know you're going to carry on. I know you're going to act up. We already know this already. You come in and act up the way, we already know this is how you're going to behave. This is why we open the mic up, because I want people to come back, look at the video, listen to what we talked about, telling people at the end of the day why paints need to be tested, why customers need to be asking these questions at the end of the day. So they're going to read through your comments. They're going to read through all the carrying on and screaming and yelling and all that, because it shows at the end of the day that you guys are upset because your products don't work. Oh, look, you want to call somebody a scammer at the end of the day. My products don't match house paint. Y'all's do. Show me any demonstrations of my product matching house paint on camera with me in the camera. Nope, 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 nope. What about you guys? Have you got any video demonstrations of you matching house paint? Any of you? Any of you matching black on black? You probably had a black on black paint. Any of y'all? What? It's right there. All right then. Any video that you deleting videos off your account? All right there. Everything right there. Look at that. So upset. This is his reaction. Being unprofessional? Yep. Canceled orders? Yep. Everything on you guys. Can't even back your own products up. And you should never be talking about someone's teeth at the end of the day. Off the record, yeah, you should never be talking about anyone's teeth at the end of the day. Never. Where is this section here? That's the saying. You run your mouth too much, man. You had nerve to be talking about my teeth at the end of the day. And look at that, man. I ain't trying to be rude here, but I gotta say this. It looked like somebody ran through a picket fence and then tried to put it back up. One half going here and one half going there. I try to be professional about this, man. You got nerve to talk about somebody's teeth. Are you kidding me? Like I said, I don't know whether to laugh at that or kick a field goal. Gee whiz. No, you're the last person to be talking about somebody's grill at the end of the day. Where is this tooth? Right there. It's completely underneath this, and this is going in this direction. Oh, gee whiz, man. I didn't really look at that picture until I basically, when he gave me the middle finger, I didn't really look at it because I ain't paying no mind. But seriously? It's not even a straight bucky. Like, it's really not. Like, seriously, like, it's not even straight. Like, that one tooth has got a mind of his own. It's going someplace else. Gee whiz. Seriously? What the heck? Got vampire going on here? This is completely gone. I don't know what the freak this is. It's like if the teeth are just deliberately trying to separate from themselves. All right, whatever. Just leave it at that. Yeah, I'm sitting like this joke. You got a nerve to be talking about somebody's grill at the end of the day. And look at this joint, man. Whew, man. Okay. Some braces or something. I see we're kind of quiet now, aren't we? What? Literally, if I want to be petty, I can literally use that on so many levels, it's not even funny. I don't do the whole mean things. I don't care about this. I even got live at the bottom. You're live when you did. That's even worse. I can basically trash you on so many levels with this picture. But I'm not that type of person. Don't really care. It's gonna go right back in my file. I'm gonna snap a picture of it though. Nah, I'm wrong, because that'll lead to other dumb stuff, and I'm not trying to entertain that crap. But anyway, yeah, you really, really are the last person to need to be talking about somebody's teeth at the end of the day. Really. Or the last person should be talking about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't get mad. You run your mouth too much, man. You do. You run your mouth entirely too much. You slide a credit card through that bell like slink. But you don't. No. Don't start. Don't start. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Try to be professional in this. These guys are jokers at the end of the day. But gee, you kidding me? And crocodiles got straighter teeth than that. You ain't gonna get mad to me. Oh, you're very unprofessional. Nah, man. Every once in a while, I got the right to say things like that because you do a lot of dumb stuff at the end of the day. A lot of dumb stuff. That right there, gee whiz, man. At the end of the day, I swear, my goodness. I wonder if I could throw one of those playing cards like right through there. I think it'd probably go right through. Tell you one thing, I bet you can kill a carrot. I'll leave that alone. That's my last one. I'm done. That's my last one. I'm done. But I'm leaving that there because I need to basically show how unprofessional you are. You got a form site. I got all your cancel receipts on. We'll be showing all your cancel receipts. People are asking me, have people done business with you? I guess we have. We got a bunch of cancel receipts. I don't even do cancel receipts. This guy curses out and just about every receipt called us garbage and everything, which you did. And this is how you reacted to us right there. Putting my name up there and all that. So that's definitely going to be posted right there. All right, well, that being said, that's pretty much about it. I have no idea. Danny, since you are making this stuff from scratch, do you mind basically showing us some safety material data codes on this? Because I wouldn't dare buy anything at the end of the day unless I know what's in it. I mean, can you show us that this stuff is safe at the end of the day for home consumption, for home use? Because you're telling me you're making something from scratch, especially being a chemical and a formula, I need to know what you got in there at the end of the day. Well, not really what you got in there. I need to know that you got an approval from someone, a chemist who went through it and said, yeah, the materials he's using here is safe. Because you did state from scratch. Unless you're going to remove that off of there, and that still freaks me out because you did say it. Yeah, he did say it. So again, you need to have somebody test that before you can actually say it's from scratch. We need to know what's in there, what's danger and what's not. I got respiratory issues, so I don't need to be popping open the can and having problems breathing because you got something in there weird. Okay, that's basically about it. I'm gonna put the request out for it. I'm gonna make a few phone calls to a few people I know that basically are going to actually contact you about what you may have in there and is it tested? Because again, if you're telling me you're making a chemical by scratch, that's a concern right there. It's dangerous. Pretty much just basically just house paint. Well, we'll find out. All right, gotta go.